Hi everyone, my name is John Little and I'm a history education major, and today I'm here to talk to you about my 4 classroom values. My first value is honesty. Honesty is one of the most important values that I've learned in my life. It is so much better to be honest and truthful with someone than to lie right straight to their face. My dad from a very young age instilled in my mind that honesty is always the best policy. Out of all the lessons my dad taught me in life, this is the most important thing that he had ever taught me, and it stuck with me my whole life. In my classroom, I want my students to be honest with me. If I am struggling in teaching them a certain subject or lacking in some area, I want them to be able to tell me and be, hey, John, you need to step it up in this area. If, you do that, we'll be able to learn so much better. And they're not trying to be harsh or anything. They're just being honest with me. And then I also want to be honest with my students. If a particular student is struggling in the classroom, I might say, hey, man, you might need some extra help, or we need to fix something and correct this. Or if a student is acting up, making sure that they're okay outside of school, and then maybe having a conversation about them with, how their life is going and how they're trying to balance everything in life. And a quote by Michelle Obama perfectly sums up the importance of honesty. She says, "We learn about honesty and integrity, that the truth matters, that you don't take shortcuts or play by your own set of rules. And success doesn't count unless you earn it fair and square." And to me, this perfectly sums up the value of honesty. My next value is enthusiasm. I want my students to know that I love what I do. I wouldn't become a teacher if I didn't love kids. I want to bring an energy in the classroom that promotes positivity in a great learning environment for my students. I also want to keep them engaged. So, by having an excitement in my voice, by being excited about the material I'm teaching, I believe that I'll be able to keep them on board so that I don't have to deal with those nodding heads or the students talking to their buddies while I'm trying to teach something important. And that's the most important thing, is trying to keep a student engaged in the classroom. I want my students to know that teaching is not just my job. It is my passion in life. I will put forth continuous effort for my students to learn in a safe and fun environment. Jeff Van Gundy sums up enthusiasm very well with this quote. He says, "To be successful in anything, you have to have a passion for it, and that leads to being enthusiastic and demanding." If I didn't have a passion for history, I would have never gotten into what I'm doing, because I would have been an awful teacher if I didn't love what I'm doing. And with history, I absolutely love this subject, and I always figure out new ways to learn it and new things about it, and it's always so interesting for me, and I want to share that wealth of knowledge with my students. My next value is respect. I want my students to respect me in the classroom, but also know that I have respect for them. A big thing for me is that my students respect their other classmates. I will never put up with bullying in the classroom. That is the worst thing that can happen to a student, because instead of focusing on the learning, they're worried about something that's going on outside of that. And I want my students to feel safe and comfortable, and I will do everything in my power to make sure that students do not get bullied in my classroom and that they feel safe and comfortable. Albert Einstein provides a great quote about honesty. He says, "I speak to everyone in the same way, whether he is a garbage man or the president of the university." Albert Einstein does not vary his respect person from person. He simply respects all, which in my mind is the right thing to do. Students will come from different backgrounds that I have not had the chance to experience, but I will treat them how they should be treated as a human being. Finally, I want to talk about hard work. I want my students to have fun and engaging lesson plans, which means that I will have to put in a lot of work outside of the classroom, but it is so worth it when that student has that aha moment in your classroom, and there's no better feeling than that. Students may also require extra help on information outside of class. I want to be there to help them, no matter if it's coming in 2 hours early or 2 hours later to help a student out. I am always willing to do that, and I want to make sure